All right, let's talk weather on this Thursday evening. It's Weather for Weather Geeks, the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video. And as promised, it turned into a fine day today. A little bit of a chill in the air, certainly this afternoon, but not too many of us minded that, I don't think. After a pretty cloudy start to the day, that sun felt pretty nice this afternoon. This time lapse starts just after daybreak this morning from our transmitter tower on the south side of Youngstown, and there go the clouds. Cobalt blue skies for the afternoon, and then towards sunset, some cirrus clouds tried to start making inroads, but the clouds really won't thicken much until we head into the overnight. It's a bit of a snoozer weather-wise across the country on this Thursday evening. A severe thunderstorm watch in the yellow down here near the Red River Valley, Oklahoma and Texas, but that's about it. I mean, the rest of the country is looking A-OK. We'll see an increase in those high clouds as we head through the overnight tonight, but they won't be kind of the low, stubborn clouds like we had last night and this morning. No drizzle tonight, and the clouds will be pretty fast to thin out on our Friday. And just in time for high school football Friday evening, the sky will turn completely clear. You know, unbelievable weather for high school football this season, with the exception of just a couple weeks ago, we had a few showers around, but otherwise, yeah, it's been dry in most communities for the season and for the playoffs. So week one, east winds under 10 miles per hour. Hard to ask for much more, really. Clear sky, temperatures ending up in the low 40s by the end of the game. And so by afternoon, the clouds will thin out. Crystal clear skies then for Friday evening, Friday night, and all day Saturday. Just a perfect start to the weekend. For the second consecutive Saturday, we'll have one of those days where you'll be hard-pressed to find a cloud in the sky. We'll see clouds thickening up on Sunday, but the rain stays to our south and west through the daylight hours Sunday. By Sunday night into Monday, we continue to carry that chance for some showers in our forecast. Penguin game day forecast on Saturday, 2 p.m. kickoff at the Ice Castle, and the stadium will be drenched in sunshine with kickoff temperatures in the upper 50s, lower 60s, heading up to about 63, 64 on average by the end of the afternoon on Saturday. So weekend forecast, 63 degrees in most spots Saturday afternoon, back to the upper 30s at night, and then despite the thickening clouds on Sunday, we'll still be above the average by a handful of degrees Sunday afternoon with highs in the lower 60s. And for trick-or-treaters on, Monday, no guarantee that it's going to be raining when most kids are out trick-or-treating and most adults are accompanying them. But we do have that chance for showers in our forecast. We might be in between showers for a lot of the evening. It's too early to make that kind of specific call, but just prepare at this point for a potentially damp afternoon and evening. At least it won't be that cold, though. Upper 50s, lower 60s for Halloween afternoon and evening on Monday. Then the story for next week becomes the warmth. Now, we're into November next week, so we're not talking about 85 degrees or anything. If the same pattern occurred in July or August, we'd probably be talking about 90 plus. But it's going to be November, so no 90, but might we flirt with 70 a few times end of next week? That's going to be a distinct possibility. And this is good news for utility costs. We are not going to be cranking those heaters for at least the first half of November. There are model indications that as we go into the second half of November, the pattern may not turn like bitterly cold or anything, but it should turn cooler, noticeably cooler by the second half of November, with more details to follow on the longer range. Before we leave you this evening, let's talk a little bit about the upcoming winter forecast. Of course, if you've been watching this video lately, it's coming up in November on the 17th. That's a Thursday. In fact, it's 3 weeks from tonight. We'll be doing the annual winter forecast. We look at a lot of ocean water temperatures when formulating these winter forecasts. And what sticks out like a sore thumb, of course, La Nina, that's that big blue stripe. We're actually looking at 2 years worth of water temperature anomalies today and a year ago today. Up here is a year ago today, back in 2021. This is this week. The maps, to the naked eye look kind of similar. You got your big tongue of cold water here. That's La Nina. Now, last October, we had colder than average water in the Gulf of Alaska into the west coast of Canada and the Pacific Northwest of the U.S. We don't have that this time around, but the water is cooling in that same region right now, and we have the same kind of tongue of very warm water out here that we had last year. It's centered a little bit farther to the west this year as compared to last year. Those are things we're watching. We're also watching, believe it or not, the Indian Ocean, because a couple of things can be important here. Last year, we had pretty uniform water temperatures in much of the Indian Ocean. This year we have cooler than average waters in the western Indian Ocean and very warm weathers over towards what's called what we call the maritime continent, the area just north of Australia, close to Indonesia. This is a long way from here, right? But these things can influence weather patterns heading into the northern hemisphere winter season. You can get these blow up of thunderstorms that occur in some parts of the Indian Ocean, then track into the Pacific, and those clusters of storms, that convection, can then have downstream implications to the jet stream as it begins to impact North America. It's all connected, right? So we look, at some places that are pretty far away from home. When we start looking at these winter forecasts, we look at past winters and try to figure out, all right, when we had La Nina, when we had the warmth up here, when we had cool water out here, but warm water over here. We look for winters that had kind of similar setups to that, and then see what happened during that following winter. It's hard to find exact matches. A lot of La Nina winters in the record books, but several La Ninas where you don't have those other setups in the northern Pacific and the Indian Ocean, even into the Atlantic. It's hard to find an exact match, but we start to come up with a list of fairly similar years, and that provides kind of a basis or a starting point for the winter forecast. So I'm doing a lot of work behind the scenes looking at this kind of stuff as I begin to formulate the forecast 3 weeks from tonight. Be sure and circle that date on your calendar. In the meantime, thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks tonight. Have a great rest of your Thursday and a great Friday. We'll be back with a new edition of this video on Monday.